And everything is running smoothly. Let's just do this and let's see. But I guess it should be rather fine. Should be quite good. I guess, I assume. But I do also think that I'm also gonna start live streaming on TikTok simultaneously with the phone and whatnot. Should actually work, unless my internet is saying like, no, it's not gonna work, you fucker. This is not gonna turn out that well. But let's actually set things up and also decide what we are gonna talk about today, because I don't know yet. I don't know yet what it is gonna be all about. But still, let me see, because I do wanna make something rather, or talk about something rather significant or good or whatnot. You know, something that may is a bit more interesting than the other things that I went through in the past few days, quite here on the stream. But therefore it's probably going to be a book summary, because most often I do find that by going through book summaries I find such a lot of very interesting information that I just really want to share and really think is pretty useful for people out there that are listening and watching, yeah, watching and whatnot. And so I think that it is going to be a book summary. I do also know, by the way, that there's still I guess even 2 book summaries that I haven't finished yet on the podcast / on YouTube, but I am not quite sure. I really am not. But I also know that I'm not going to go ahead with them because I just don't want to do so. So let us see. Categories. What is it going to be about? Health, money, philosophy, psychology. I could actually also show you, by the way. No, not like this, but like that. We are, could you please go in? We are on the bestbookbits.com site. A little bit of a caution sign here, please. This is a site, I guess, that is ripping off other book summaries from other sites and puts it on their site. Which, you know, ethically speaking is not the best thing. For me it kind of is, because I'm just, you know, getting all the book summaries that I want to get, and there's basically really a lot of summaries there. And so let's see, categories, personal development. You know, let's just have a look at this. You know, maybe there we can find something rather interesting and rather good. Then I'm also gonna start the other stream, Braving the Wilderness, 4 weeks ago. What matters most? The problem that I'm also having is that I do not know which summaries that I've already went through, because I went through so many things. But still there's another one. So now there's the Best Book Bits. The Alan Chang site that once was there but is not anymore as far as I know. Then Samuel Thomas Davis, or David, don't remember, site where you can find book summaries. Then on Medium, sometimes you can also find them as well, but you just have to search for the book, which, you know, I do not often do, because I want to search for just a catalog of different summaries, of which I can then choose from. Build to Serve. I'd actually also like to, you know, go through one that I know the author of. Happiness is the Way, Not a Life Coach, Never Too Late to Be Great, The Charge, Activate the 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive, Brendan Burchard. You know what, you know, those book summaries and those book titles, they often sound so meh. Just meh. You know, just like, you know, I do not even want to go through it. Let's actually, I'm searching for one particular site, and I am trying to remember a book summary that I went through on the site. Book summary. Let's actually see. Maybe we can find something. James Clear, yes, I forgot about him. There we have the Samuel Thomas Davis, not David, site. Formatted books, which is quite okay. Seeken, I do not know. Free book summaries, over 100 books for you. Seeken. Heart of Living. Let's actually see whether they have good summaries. Learn from my 100+ free book summaries. As the more you learn, the more you earn. If you're not having to read the whole book, then my short 10-minute book summary is all you need. 100 ways to motivate yourself. Not gonna read it. Definitely not. Like, this is probably one of the kind of most no-goes that I can have at one site, you know? Definitely not gonna go through that. John C. Maxwell and Les Parrott, 25 Ways to Win with People. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Actually a pretty interesting book, though I guess you should read the whole book. I think that this is very useful, and or actually you should be doing it. I'd say that it is a waste of time going through a book summary on that, as I have done. Still pretty good if you, or basically to decide whether you want to go through the book or not. But anyway, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. That's actually, I don't know if I've read it, but we are just gonna do so. Since it is apparently only a 10-minute summary, we are gonna see, it's actually very, very minor, you know. It's basically like, okay, here we have a little bit of the book, you know, let's deal with it. Have a bit of fun. And I'm just getting basically like 1% of the whole book, and something that the author, and then it would actually be pretty interesting to know the author of the summary decided what to use and what to choose. But still, I mean, it is what it is. It just is what it is. Let's start the other stream. Actually the first, I guess, on TikTok, but I'm actually not quite sure, you know, it may actually be... Shut the fuck up. The question now is how to do that, because I don't know. I really don't. I do, but I hope that the sound is rather good and okay. But it should be fine. No? Live? Can I actually do so? I don't know. I really do not know. Or not. Do I really have to fucking Google now how to do that? Please don't make me do that. Please, please, please don't. God. Very quickly. How to go live on TikTok? There's to go live on TikTok, tap the create icon to access the live screen. Aha. This is basically what I did, but it kind of did not work, you know, at least not in the way I wanted to. Templates, no. Maybe I can't. But I know that I once accidentally did it. And I also do not really want to waste my time and your time here, me sitting here in front of my phone and just trying to figure out how things work, just because I'm just a different generation. Anyway, things are complicated. I feel old. A bit. At least. A little tiny bit old. A little tiny bit old. Because I cannot get this to work. I'm just Googling on my phone, you know. How to go live on TikTok. Because I'm a fucking dumbass, apparently. You can even raise money for charities through donation stickers. Amazing. I bet that the majority of TikTok's community is willing to donate to charity. Definitely not irony here, you know. Ironically meant, whatever. Before you enter live, here are a few best practices. Time slot, length of time, stay active, lighting, sounds, internet connection, plan it out, safe. But I would just like to have a fucking screenshot on how to fucking do that. But apparently, this is not something that I can do. If you want to go live on TikTok, you have to be 16 years old or older and have more than 1,000 followers. Well, not having that, so this is just not gonna work out. Oh fuck. Anyway, so I'm gonna stay here on Twitch anyway, and we're gonna have a great time here, you know. We don't need TikTok. Nobody. Well, it's actually a pretty interesting platform, I'd say, and especially very creative one. This is what I like most about it, that you can find new things, you can see new things, new people, new artists, and people are also able to really grow quite quickly, which, I don't know, it's a problem in itself, since what did I want to say? Since if everyone is able to grow that quickly and earn quote-unquote fame that quickly, it kind of just makes everything worth nothing to some degree. Anyway, Attached book talks about every individual's attachment style. This book says that your happiness and well-being will also depend on your partner. Research proves it. This book also shows that how well you will get along with your partner also depends on your attachment style. This book contains attachment styles which help you to know your attachment style. Let's just move on. Agreed? About the author. Do I really know something? Well, anyway. Before talking about the book, Attached, the new science of adult attachment and how it can help you find and keep love, buy it. Let's discuss the books. The book authors Amir Levine and Rachel S.F. Heller, I guess, and Dr. Amir A. Levine is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychiatry in the Division of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry at Columbia University. Dr. Levine is also the co-author of a popular science book titled and what this is, well, I know what's going on here. Putting the title as often as you can, and I've done this as well, into the text, so that Google is gonna favor your fucking text or your article over others, you know, because there you can see 100 times the fucking title. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, I've also done that on YouTube, you know, just trying to put multiple things, my own name, just so often into the description that it is great and good for the algorithm. Did it help me? Maybe a tiny little bit, you know, but overall, no, definitely not. Which has been translated into 11 languages, and another co-author of the book Attached is Rachel Heller, studied at Columbia University with some of the most prominent scholars in the field of social psychology. She now works with families and couples as a psychologist in private practice. Rachel lives in Israel, or Israel, I don't know. Attached book summary. Attached book summary, chapter 1, decoding relationship behavior. In this chapter, the author shaves a few relationship problems. Shares, not shaves, but shares. In first problem, author shares a story of a girl who dated a guy for 2 weeks, and in just 2 weeks she started thinking whether the guy find him attractive or not. Her attractive or not. Whether he will call him again or not. She started worrying miserably whether he will find me attractive enough, and obsessing about whether or not he is going to call. She knows that once again she will manage to turn all her fears about not being good enough into a self-fulfilling prophecy and ruin yet another chance at a relationship. The whole thing about self-fulfilling prophecies, I guess, is actually a pretty big deal. Not only when it comes to relationships, but quite in general, you know, when it is about, well, what should I say, doing things, you know, just, yeah, period. Second relationship problem is of a guy who is charming and has dated many girls, but after a few weeks he loses interest and starts to feel trapped. It shouldn't be this hard to find someone he is compatible with. In the third scenario, author discusses the relationship problem between husband and wife. A wife who feels lonely and incomplete. Even after being married for several years, she finds her husband disinterested. She finds that her husband never discusses his emotions or talk about the relationship, but things have gone from bad to worse. He stays at work late almost every weeknight, and on weekend he's either at the golf course with friends or watching the sports channel on TV. There's just nothing to keep them together. She thinks that maybe she would be better off alone. Maybe I'm gonna get into this exact phrase a bit later on. Just in terms, well, is it advice? I don't know if I should call it advice. Just a thought, maybe. Anyway, chapter 2, dependency is not a bad word. We have seen many people talking or many books advise that we don't need men or women to be happy. We can be happy by staying alone, but this book says that all such things are based on the wrong pre-assumptions or pre-supposition. It is not completely right that we function well all alone. The author says that we are genetically created that way, that we need someone to be with, and it has nothing to do with how much we love ourselves or how fulfilled we are. Well, yeah, we are a social animal. We need society, we need other people, we need socialization, we need to connect with other people. This is just really, really essential for mental and therefore also physical health. Maybe not even therefore, but mental and physical health. It is very, 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 very important to have interactions with people. Actually, kind of maybe one of the most important things there is, since it can dramatically damaging your health and life. If you are not somehow connected or feel somehow connected. However, it doesn't mean that we have become dependent or weaker, or have to become. No, really. This is, I think, a problem that lies in wrong communication, I'd say, to some degree. The thing is, well, if I'm saying, okay, you should not be attached to somebody, you should not depend on somebody, yeah, I mean it. But on the other hand, I clearly know that having a partner, theoretically, and it obviously depends on the partner as well, can really, really, really give you a lot of strength and make your life way better and way more interesting, because most often being not alone is actually useful regarding many things, regarding having another opinion, having somebody to talk to, having somebody to share your pains with quite as well, or quite everything, the fun parts of life and also the negative parts of life. But in the end as well, it should not be the basis of your happiness. It should not be like the underlying reason why you're happy. It shouldn't be another person. Of course, this is pretty difficult. I just think about people that, have been married for such a long time that, well, of course, when they divorce, or if they divorce, they are not going to be happy. Neither one of them, probably, even though there's probably going to be a reason for that and yada, yada, yada. But still, we get used to situations and things very, very quickly, I'd say. But still, another person should not be the basis of your happiness to some degree. Because as I've just been saying before, if you've been in a relationship for just really such a lot of time, like how can you deal with it in a way that this is not going to be kind of fundamental for your life? Because it kind of is just fundamental for your life, a ton of things, a ton of decisions, a ton of things that you do are based on that thing, or at least maybe not always based, but by also having this in the back of your mind, okay, am I gonna really drink such a lot tonight, or am I then gonna be unable to, I don't fucking know, talk to my partner, which is something that is important for me? I don't know. This is a very bad example, I understand. Attached book summary, chapter 3, what is my attachment style? Rachel and Amir have identified 3 attachment styles. First, anxious, second, avoidant, and the third, secure. The first, anxious. Anxious people are often preoccupied with their relationships and tend to worry about their partner's ability to love them back. If you have an anxious style, then you must spend a lot of time worrying about your partner, whether they love you or not, and gets worried immediately if they don't call back or don't respond. You feel a constant need to be with your partner, need them to be accessible all the time, and take what they do and say very personally. The second is the avoidance style. Avoidant people equate intimacy with a loss of independency and constantly try to minimize closeness. An avoidant attachment style means you value your independence more than your relationship. Avoidant style people usually struggle to share their feelings. They easily blame others, even partners, if things go wrong. Avoidant people keep holding out for the right one, and that makes it easy for you to find little ways in which your partner irritates you. Well, to some degree, I understand this attachment style, but I can't really see how a relationship could work like that. Obviously, maybe this is not going to be a constant thing, you know. Probably there's going to be phases, you know. Some days it's worse and some days it isn't. But still, you know, if you're with a person that does not want to be close to you because he or she thinks that there might be somebody else that is better than you, kind of, like paraphrased here, I don't know, you know. I wouldn't feel too good about that whole thing, to be honest. The third, secure style. Secure people feel comfortable with intimacy and are usually warm and loving. This style people are balanced, they care enough and don't get worried much. Secure style people love to share their feelings and they love intimacy. They share feelings, they don't crib. There is a huge difference between cribbling and sharing. A secure partner is the best predictor of a happy relationship, and two secure partners rarely run into problems. So they share everything and they do not get worried. You know, I would say that I'm more on the worry side. Like, I guess that I'm tending more or less to the anxious style, even if I wouldn't say that it is completely the case. Very important notion here, or very important note here, because I would assume that this is actually the case for most people, you know. Most people are not gonna really be, and this is very important to point out, most people are not going to be able to be put into one of those three categories, since there's so many variables and so many things and so many you know, facets of life that it may not actually be that easy to do so. But still, people are probably gonna lean towards one of those states or categories or whatever you want to call them, topics, I don't know, doesn't matter in the end. So, and I would say that I'm more or less to the anxious style. I wouldn't completely say that I'm a secure style thing, you know, because I still feel like worried sometimes or from time to time. And well, read more, start with Summary by Simon Sinek. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. This is the end of attachment style. These are a few chapters from the book attached. This book shares many more useful chapters and also techniques to identify your partner attachment. Your partner, well. Just a little note here in terms of the book summary. Didn't really like it. Well, I think it is, you know, some great points, some interesting points, and gives me something to speak about. Yes, definitely the case. Written not that nicely, unfortunately. Many, I think, grammatical mistakes that make it also not that easy to go through and read, therefore, and also read to other people, you know, read out loud. This is just, you know, making it even more difficult. And well, still, something that I wanted to point out: be better off alone. In the whole context of things are not going too well, things well, yeah, things are difficult at the time. I would argue, and I would say, and I would suggest everyone that feels like, okay, you know, I'd be better alone, to think about that. You know, really, really, really long and heavily. Am I really going to be better off alone? Am I really going to feel better alone? Am I really just gonna be this nice and amazing person if I'm alone, or if I was alone without this particular partner, or without any partner even? At this point in time, I feel like, you know, having a partner would actually be quite nice. You know, I wouldn't say no if the right person would appear quite. Though, at this point in time, I also feel really, really good alone. You know, just not having to care about anything, just being able to do whatever I want to do. And I do also actually understand those people that are for their whole entire life long single and quite alone, maybe not with just some really long-term relationships, maybe just some one-night things or one-night stands or whatever you want to call them. I really can understand this, because basically you can live your life in the way you want. You can spend your time with whomever you want. There's nothing to worry about. But on the other hand, maybe there's also a lot of fear, fear of maybe dying alone, the fear of, I don't know, maybe fear is also the wrong word, but just, always something not being there, and always knowing that there is something not wrong, because this does not have to be wrong, but something is going on, and then you can't talk to somebody just very frequently. Of course, there might be friends and some very close people to you and whatnot, but this is something different than having a partner, something completely different, something or someone that really knows quite everything about you. This is something entirely different. But still, if you are in a relationship, I would really think about this and imagine every single situation that you can find yourself in, and really outweigh whether it is better to be alone versus to be in this relationship. Of course, not everyone was as blessed as I was with my relationship, that I've really had an amazing relationship, lasted 3 years. Actually, I think a bit more than 3 years, or 2 years and a bit. I'm actually not quite sure. I think actually 2 years and a bit even. Actually, I'm not quite sure anymore. Anyway, so I've had one relationship, ended because of reasons, but a really nice one. And I think the beauty of relationships is that, first of all, you're gonna find and understand yourself very well. Well, finding yourself, maybe also, yes, to some degree, definitely you can. And you're gonna learn such a lot of things about yourself, and such a lot of things about who you are, what is important to you, what is not so important for you, and well, so on and so forth. But think about it. Really, really, really dearly think about it. This is a big decision. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for the long run, essentially, because it is difficult. Because at some point it is inevitably going to be, And I would argue it is better to have it now than later on. If I just think, and this is something that I also thought about, and something that I also kept in mind, was like, should I really do it now, or should we really do it now? Is it better to do it now, or is it better to kind of do it on some other day? And we both actually thought, well, it should be better, and it would be better to do it right now, and just to deal with it right now. In the end, I would actually argue, yes, it really was, because through this, or through just doing it quicker and earlier and whatnot, I was able to deal with it for longer. And yeah, that is actually quite it. Really quite it, But think about it, really think about it. There is a lot of beauty in having a relationship, but on the other hand, there can also be a ton of pain, a ton of fear, a ton of bad things, unnecessarily and unfortunately, because most often, like, they stem from very, very stupid reasons, and they can also just stem from having somebody on your side that is not the correct person. Maybe not for you, maybe you are the problem as well, maybe there's something that you have to solve in terms of yourself, maybe psychological reasons, whatever it may be. But difficult things, but when things run somewhat smoothly, it is really amazing, or it can be really amazing. But yeah, anyway, I think that I'm gonna end the stream here, and you can watch this episode once again on YouTube and also on Twitch. So I'm gonna see you next time. I hope you've been able to get something out of this. I hope that I've been able to talk about some things that were of importance and present it in a somewhat good way. Anyway, I'm gonna see you next time.